Well, once again, we have another unarmed black man that has been killed by police. The man was unarmed and running away, and the officer claims that he feared for his life.
Oh shit. Shit.
The officer's name is Michael Slager of North Charleston, South Carolina. He shot the 50-year-old black man, Walter Scott, in the back at least 8 times as he ran away. The incident occurred at about 9:30 a.m. on Saturday when the man was pulled over for a simple traffic violation. The officer claims that there was a struggle over his taser, but as we can see from the video, there is no point at which the person who was killed actually had possession of the officer's taser, and in fact there doesn't really appear to be much of a struggle at all. He proceeds to arrest the man once he's down with several bullets in his back. The officer yelled, "Put your hands behind your back now. Put your hands behind your back." The man he shot isn't even moving. The officer in question has been arrested and charged with murder. Via his lawyer, he claims that he followed the proper procedures and everything that has been laid out by the police department. Now, on top of this, the FBI and the Justice Department, the Division for Civil Rights, also claims that they will be doing their own investigations. A Justice Department spokesman said, "The Department of Justice Civil Rights Division and the South Carolina U.S. Attorney's Office will work with the FBI in the investigation. The Department of Justice will take appropriate action in light of the evidence and developments in the state case." It is an accomplishment in itself that a killer cop has actually been charged. Now, I'll be a little bit more confident once he, say, gets convicted and is sentenced to life in prison, like other people who kill. But I think before we get ahead of ourselves and get a little bit too optimistic just because of this change, I think it's important to look at a recent study which came out right before this that said the majority of whites in America support police violence. And this is just a recent poll. Now think about this. While we're in a time that there is increasing violence against black men in America, people of color in general, including Latinos, white people in the United States are still in huge support of police violence, of police attacking people. Think about that context when we think about this poll. And think a little bit more of the social divisions that still occur within the country. A lot of people like to claim that simply having, a revolutionary party in the first world based on the oppression of African Americans would somehow be a trigger to bring greater revolution to the United States as a whole. And I stand by the firm position that this idea is false. That while the black population certainly does deserve liberation, it certainly does deserve to have an end of the oppression that's carried out against them by white society in the United States, they should not really see white people in general as an ally in this situation. Because look at what happens every time black people rise up against some kind of injustice that's carried out against them. White people, including liberals, will be the first ones to come up and say the police should come in and shut this down, should stop this violence, stop them from fighting back. Because not fighting back certainly works, right? So just remember that. Now let's say African Americans actually rose up and created like a semi-autonomous state where they could exercise their own right to self-determination. How fast do you think every white person in the country would come in saying, well, we got to shut them down. We got to stop them before they take our homes or destroy our neighborhoods and all kinds of stuff like that? Because I think that's what actually would happen. If black people actually really rose up, white people wouldn't support them. In fact, they would become even more scared of the, that boogeyman, black man that's been placed in people's minds by the media and the general white supremacist colonizer, country that is the United States. So I think it's really important to keep that in mind when we're looking at the possibilities of having, hopefully, this officer being convicted of the crime that he has certainly carried out against this man. And maybe we shouldn't get a little bit too ahead of ourselves and not get too optimistic that the officer has actually been charged. If you like this video and you'd like to see more of them, then head over to my Patreon page and show your support. Or you can go to the MRN bookstore and check out some of the latest books available. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and share on various social media.